Hey you guys. Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel. Been quite a month and I wanted to give you guys an update. By the time I actually post this, what has happened will be in the title, so you'll already know prior to clicking on this video. So my mom passed away 7 days ago. It has been an extremely difficult month on a lot of different levels. And it happened quickly, and I'm still kind of in a fog. I think a couple of people have asked me, you know, just what it feels like, and my best analogy that I can give is that I'm in a fog, but I'm running on autopilot, just getting things done still. And I think that's normal, and I think that's going to be going on for a while. It's the hardest loss I think I will experience in my lifetime. My mom and I were extremely close. She ended up passing away of stage 4 double breast cancer with some other complications as well from prior ailments that she's had. I just also wanted to say I'm sorry that I kind of ghosted on you guys and didn't post an update. I just didn't have the time. I literally could barely even wash my hair. It was so hectic. It just felt impersonal to do like a community post because just of the intensity of the situation. I just wanted to wait till I could actually sit down and tell you guys what actually happened. So thank you guys for being here first and foremost. I know I don't have to do this or anything, but I do want to. I really hope that this can help someone as I'm learning with a very deep grief and the loss of one of the most important people in my life, that you need a sense of community. And obviously I have that with my family, but it's also, I think of you guys all as friends here too, and you guys have helped me through things in the past, and I hope that this is therapeutic for me so I can tell the story and then hopefully start to heal from here. So let's just start where I left off last time, shall we? So I believe in my last video that I posted, I left off that my mom was going to get scans to see if the cancer had spread. We were going for those scans just a few days later, and my father ended up calling me in a panic because my mom couldn't all of a sudden get up off of the ground. So I rushed to find someone to watch Maddie, which was hard enough in itself, obviously. Everything's more complicated when you have kids, right? And I drove over there as fast as I could. My mom was having extreme trouble just getting up into a chair, and my dad and I basically had to lift her onto there, and from there lift her to a wheelchair. And we were going to just cancel the oncologist's appointment, but my mom was so determined to try to get there that sheer willpower, that woman somehow got herself into that wheelchair and into the car. But once she was in the car, and that was just who she was, she just had such a determination about her. But so once she was in the car, she had trouble breathing, and we had to call an ambulance to come take her to the hospital because she was so short of breath. And it was pretty much a roller coaster ever since then. It was not the best experience at the hospital as well. They had done some things with her previous medications, trying to take her off of them, or lower the dosages, which wasn't their place, and it was ridiculous. And I had to get into arguments with them, and I was already going through so much, you know, for lack of better words, which is unnecessary and controlling. They just wanted to do stuff a certain way. My mom had been disabled for probably 10 to 15 years. So the medications that she was on were the ones that had helped her for so long. There was no need for them to come in not knowing her and try to mess around with the medications that her doctor had already been prescribing for years. Multiple doctors had been prescribing for years. So that was a bit of a battle in itself, and who needs that kind of stress when you're trying to get a diagnosis and see where your mom is at? So I'm still, you know, I shouldn't be shocked by people anymore, I swear, but certain things they just floor me. So long story short with that, they ended up getting the scans. We knew that the cancer had spread and was spreading quite quickly. And we also found out that my mom had bone fractures in her back as well. part of the chronic pain and disability that she had for years was back issues with nerve damage and herniated discs. So this just threw in a whole nother level of pain for her, and on top of it she had an extremely aggressive cancer going on. So after meeting with a few people there and looking at different plans that we might be able to do for her, we all kind of decided collectively, and especially I wanted it to be my mom's decision personally. I really believe that somebody should be able to choose their own way of leaving this world. And because of all of the conditions she had, plus the cancer had become so aggressive, I mean, it was literally eating away at her skin. It was horrifying to see, honestly. I probably got PTSD, and that's not even, the month after this was even harder. The whole month after the hospital stay was even harder. So I definitely probably could benefit from some kind of therapy at some point, but I always try to tackle things on my own, so I'll see how I'm doing in the future. Because of all of that, we decided to take my mom home on hospice. She decided she just wanted to, that it wasn't worth a few more months and her being in pain, and would her body even be able to withstand certain surgeries and chemos and things, and only extend her life by not a very long amount of time, and would she be sick through it the whole time. So we decided on hospice, which was hard to say the least. So I had my mom move in with me. So I believe it was June 29 when Mom moved in with me. I remember the hospice bed being delivered and the oxygen tanks and some of the medications, and it just feels so surreal. I just remember looking at my dad, who came to stay as well, and just saying, like, wow, we just brought Mom's deathbed in. And it's a really weird feeling when you join something like hospice, because normally when you're caretaking for someone, you're doing it so that they get better, right? You're taking all of your time, you're giving up everything else you're doing so that they heal and get better. And this is like, it's weird because you're doing all of these things to keep them comfortable while they're starting to slip away. It is extremely difficult to go through, especially if it's one of the people closest to you. It's so hard. And so from the next month, it's just one big whirlwind and blur. Because of those compression fractures in my mom's back and the cancer and the regular nerve damage she already had, it became to the point where my mom literally could not move. She just had to stay on her back. She could twist a little, but it was painful. She also had the lymphedema in her arm, so it was becoming about 2 times its size. So it became very difficult just moving her, which she needed to be constantly, because you start sliding down in a bed if you can't keep yourself up. And that was one of the biggest struggles that we had, and we made kind of some like contraptions to make it work. Tried getting sheets under her. I mean, me and my dad were caretaking for my mom, taking 8-hour shifts each just to, you know, keep her as comfortable as possible. You know, so my mom was not in good shape. She also had to have the wound care done, obviously. She was on a bunch of medications that had to be, you know, written down everywhere. It's like you become an ER nurse overnight. And would I do it again? Yeah, I would. I would for her. It's not for the faint of heart, and it definitely leaves a scar in you watching somebody who was so vibrant, who could literally probably run the world. My mom owned 2 companies, multiple kids, very smart, very witty, very loving. My mom was the best grandma. You know, watching somebody that vibrant start to deteriorate is a special kind of, you know what, that you just, I don't wish on anybody. It's hard to witness, and it's hard to caretake someone of that level. It's almost like reverting back to a child, but you know that they are going to pass away. And it was so difficult, you guys, with having a toddler and my sick mom in my same house, because a 2-year-old A 2-year-old does not care. I mean, she does, you know, they're not gonna like sit still. It was absolute chaos, and I did my best with it, but I just feel like it's kind of like a sick joke. Like, I don't understand why it had to happen for multiple reasons right now while Maddie is so young. It's just felt like that wasn't the time, because I didn't have as much time and I was barely sleeping, because it was the only time I could help out while, so I could still take care of my daughter as well. So it was very it was a really hard time. There was a lot of beauty in it too, though, you know. And with hospice, I will say they were lovely in the beginning. One thing I kind of had a problem with them is that they really wanted to just kind of dope my mom up, especially towards the end. And I wasn't about that, and they kept trying to pressure her at the end to go to one of the inpatient facilities, but my mom wanted to pass away at home, and I wanted to honor that wish, no matter how hard it was getting on us. And they just pushed things a little bit too much, and I would have to relay information. We never had the same nurse. Right at the end we did. It was really chaotic, because we would keep having these temps come in, and they would have no idea of the situation and what's going on, and it would take me like an hour to show them where everything was, what needed to be done, you know, who's coming back next, scheduling everything. And it was really unprofessional at that point. And just, I know that they were trying, and I know that they were short-staffed. And I think it has to do with the fact that they were probably short-staffed, because my father and I were just gonna get rid of some of our savings, because we were gonna get a home health aide or a nurse to come at night, at least to give us a break, at least towards the end, because we didn't know how much time she had. She went quicker than expected. They were originally projecting a few months. And so even just calling these agencies, I mean, first of all, they're like $30 an hour, which is one thing, but then I couldn't even find somebody that could do it overnights, because they were I know that the president or the owner of the one company said everybody's staying home because of the unemployment, so I'm short-staffed and I literally don't have anybody. And I had that from 3 other places, so it was difficult. And at that point, we kind of changed some of her meds and helped her sleep a little bit better, which gave us, you know, even a little bit of a break too, and able to spend some more quality time with her, because then she was sleeping and not in pain as much all the time. I just get frustrated in general that there's really no assistance, it seems, in the 2 avenues of life that you need the help the most: after you give birth and at death. And in our country, it's just, we're acting like a third world country when it comes to those 2 things with assistance, whether it comes from, you know, an agency or time off from work or all these things. It's just, it's really ridiculous, and it's something that just stuck with me, because I realized how much that hospice is just a business as well, and we should have better programs and laws in place to assist with life and death, really. But I could go on to that rant for hours, and I'm not going to right now. And probably about 2-3 weeks in, she started progressing worse. The most amazing thing, though, is that my mom had her mind the entire time until 2 nights before she passed away, which to me was just such a blessing, like, to be able to still talk to her and spend time with her, even though we were caretaking so much that we couldn't really have a lot of moments of just peace and laughter. And, you know, I think I'm a little jealous where people get to watch like shows with their parents and things. My mom required so much care and had to be on so many medications that we didn't get to do that part of it, but we at least got to talk when she was awake, and I'm so thankful to have had that time with her. And then a week later she started progressing, and she did pass away. I do believe that she waited for me. I put Maddie to sleep and came back upstairs, and we kind of knew she was going to go that night already. And when I came back upstairs, it was just me and her alone, and I told her it was okay to go and how much I loved her and appreciated everything she did for me. And she went extremely peacefully. I had a lot of people warn me different things that you might see as they transition, and luckily for me it was incredibly peaceful. And what she deserved, because she's been through so much. And I'm just glad that I got to be there with my dad as well, and just, I know one of the nurses told me that she looked so peaceful, and that was a testament to how well we took care of her. And whether he was just saying that or not, that brought me some peace, because we tried and we did everything we could. And I know that they also told me that just remember, you did what she wanted. Just always remember that, and you honored that, and not a lot of people can do what you did. And so that really brought me some closure in it, a little bit at least. And I really would do it all over again. My mom was my best friend in the world. The thing I'm struggling with the most right now is just missing talking to her. She was always my person, you know. We would talk on the phone multiple times a week. We'd text every day. I mean, there's a specific kind of cruelty in this with me having a young daughter, in the sense of, who am I going to go to for all of this advice as Maddie grows up? And I know it's not going to be easy at times, and I'm a little bit bitter about that. I'm bitter that, not just for me, but for Maddie. Like, it's not fair. Maddie deserves to have her grandma in her life. I had my mom and then my grandma up until I was in my very early 20s. And it was special to have both of them. And I know, just as like a funny thing, when you're like a teenager and you don't know any better, but you know, say I would be upset with my mom for not letting me go somewhere or do something ridiculous, I would call up my grandma to like complain about her. And I can just see my mom, not knowing now as an adult, I could just see them in the background like calling each other like, good, let her call and blow off steam to you, she's still safe at home, you know. But I always had both of them, and it's so amazing when you have that, because you learn so much from both of them. You get to learn so much from both of them, and there's a comfort and a security that a mom and a grandma bring, and it's just unfair that Maddie won't have her to show her things or be a certain way, so to speak. I mean, my mom was so carefree in certain aspects. I always wanted Maddie to know that side of her, you know. And my mom was a smart businesswoman, and she would have been able to help Maddie with those things as well. And I think that's the thing that I'm saddest about. It's just unfair that Maddie's not going to have her. And on top of it, John's mom passed away a couple years ago. So you know, as far as women, mother type figures, like, hi, it's me. You know, it's just a lot of pressure, because I don't have them to turn to for all of these things, and I know it's going to be hard at times, and I think that's when it's going to hit me the most. I even had the other day something as silly as I was going to start potty training, and I just had a question, like a basic question, and it sent me into that tailspin of like that deep, dark, ugly crying, like feeling of devastation, because I just wanted to text my mom quick to ask her what she thought about something I had read, and if she had ever done it, and if she thinks it would be good for Maddie. And I can't do that now, and I think that that is going to be the lifelong, you know, battle, so to speak, of wishing that I can talk to her in these questionable moments, whether they're big or small. I don't feel like it's going to be, I'm not saying like the holidays and stuff won't hit, of course they will, but I really think more of the struggle will be in those everyday moments where you just want to reach out and ask for advice to make a decision, or just the happy moments to celebrate with her. I do believe she will be watching down on me. I mean, honestly, like, how lucky was I to just be born from her? I'm trying not to cry. I really lucked out by that, just being born from her. She gave me the best childhood. She equipped me for life in so many ways. She taught me so many things. She was such a great grandma and loved my daughter so much. And I know I'm truly lucky just to have had her, because I know some people don't have great mothers, and it just makes you appreciate yours all that much more, because she was a really good one. She was always there, and I think that she gave me that gift where I will pass that down to Maddie as well. And that's the thing that kind of keeps me going, is all the things that she's taught me and the feelings and just how I feel when I was with her. I want Maddie to feel that same comfort and security growing up. I feel like that will keep my mom's spirit alive here. It really doesn't still feel real to me. I feel like she's still at her apartment. I know it's only been just a little over a week, and I know time, I guess, does help. But, you know, it's been a whirlwind too, and it's going to be probably for about the next week or so, just because, you know, I'm doing now informing people of funeral arrangements. We have to clean out her apartment, and every single thing just, it like hits you again. So it's just been a difficult time, and I'm hoping that I can figure out how to live without her for the rest of my life. You know, when you're in the grief, it can be so unbearable, and I'm just hoping I can learn to cope with it a little bit better and feel like myself again and not feel so numb. I basically go from kind of like a numb to a crying a lot lately. It's just kind of what it is, and I know it's so fresh still. I think we have to go numb. I mean, I have a daughter that I'm raising. I can't just stop. A lot of times I just want to curl in a ball and give myself a week, but I have too many responsibilities going on and I can't do that. So I'm just trying to do the basics, get through the days until the grief is a little bit more manageable. And then I'll probably come back to filming, and then I think I'll probably start filming again, and I kind of want to, just to like keep my mind busy so I'm not thinking about it. I feel like the nights are the worst when you miss somebody, because you have all the time in the world to think, and sometimes that's not a good thing. So I think it would be great for me to start filming and throw myself kind of into work in general and have things to edit at night, and also just having you guys as a community. I appreciate the friendships I made on here so much. I can't even tell you guys. And I was actually shocked that I didn't post for over 40 days and I haven't lost any subs. And so that kind of shocked me. And I wanted to thank you guys so much for just being here, sticking around, caring, sharing your stories. I'm sorry that I haven't had time to respond to all the comments, but they've all meant so much to me, and I've read every single comment. So thank you guys for caring and being here, and here's to better days. I'll see you soon. Bye guys.